To Rogan, 2 days after the fight, he goes, we didn't expect any of that.
Yeah.
They did barely train stand-up because he's a wrestler. That right hand over the top, didn't even see it coming.
Yep.
Flashback immediately to Diaz.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I'm in trouble here.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
100%. But all right, so we'll kind of cut a note here. Good.
Go ahead.
Hi everyone, this is Anthony with Interviews with Everyday People, sitting here with Brian Finneran. Local guy here. We've known each other for a little bit here. He went to the rival Shenandoah Valley School, where I was a Monty area Golden Bear, but I did start off as a Shenandoah kid, so I kind of have a little bit of love for both cities. But
Attaboy. Attaboy.
But then he became a Monty area guy, so he kind of.
I'm a varsity baseball coach.
He crossed over. He also crossed over, and also sitting here with Nikolai as well. And we are going to let him talk tonight. All right, that's the goal.
We'll see.
No, you are. I'll leave right now if you don't talk.
No, we've had this discussion. Out of the two of us, it's a Penn Teller thing, where I'm just here.
He has a good, like, what he brings in most of the interviews, because we're still learning. Like I said, we're 11 interviews in, so we're still developing our style. I know we got some of the criticism for our last interview where people thought I told too many of my stories, but the reason for that is I don't want my guests being the only one who's putting themselves out there. And I'm willing to do the same thing if they are. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it kind of makes someone feel more comfortable if I'm kind of putting my dirt out and you're putting yours out. So I kind of meet them halfway. But Nikolai at the end, he kind of brings up a nice little wrap up and kind of
surmises the whole thing.
Yeah, he's very good at that. So
I give the heartfelt movie speech at the end.
He brings he brings in the impact, like the Rudy speech.
Ooh, a Notre Dame reference. All right, this is a good interview. All right,
I'm actually this is completely off topic, but I'm going to my first Notre Dame game this year.
Really?
Yeah, we're going to go to the Bowling Green.
Good.
It's going to be myself, my father, Bobby Mushron, Cabanis, and I'm
which one? There's 400 of them.
What's her name now? Carrie.
Okay.
Yeah, Carrie. I don't know what. Sorry, don't shoot me. I forgot your name for a second. I meet so many people, so names are just not good with me. But yeah, so we're all getting a group of us going, and we're going to our first Notre Dame game. Me, my dad, and Bobby Mushron's first time at Notre Dame.
You will not be disappointed.
I'm excited. I may cry.
You will. Don't even try and fight it.
I'm gonna be like Rudy's dad. Like, this is the most beautiful thing my eyes have ever seen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been to probably, I'd say 15
really
Notre Dame games out in South Bend. They won 2 of them.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like a bad omen when I go out.
If they don't beat Bowling Green, I'll be upset.
I went out, they lost to Tulsa.
Yeah. Really?
Yes.
That's a long car ride home.
Fucking Tulsa.
It's a long car ride home. We're doing it hopefully the right way. We're actually going out Friday doing the pep rally. And then do like waking up early, seeing the band march in, and I guess like the hall where they all like the trumpets. We're doing that. Like, so we're seeing.
That's under the dome,
yeah, we're gonna see the things you should see if you experience Notre Dame game. Take a tour of the campus and
stuff. Do you
stuff.
have a book already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a Airbnb house, I think, that's like a half a mile or a mile and a half from the school, so we can literally walk from the house and back.
The campus is not in South Bend. South Bend is of course its own city, and then it's right outside, you know.
I think the campus is not that big.
It's not. You can walk the whole campus. Now, I'm not saying going in, you know, to the Goog, to the basketball arena where they play hockey, all of this and the Basilica and all that. Not seeing things, but just walking campus, you could probably do it in 2 hours, 2.5 hours maybe.
Wow.
It's not that big, but it's just there's so much to see in that small space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited.
We go out Thursday when we go.
Really?
Yes, we go out. We leave at like 4 o'clock Thursday morning. Just beat some traffic on 80, and then get out there, settle in, go to the bar. Friday's the same thing. Then you're dicking around on campus and whatnot. Saturday's game day, of course, and then Sunday you get up, eat breakfast, and you're heading home.
Yeah,
it's an easy ride. 80.
Yeah.
You take 80 west, and I think it's exit 77 in Indiana.
Awesome. I'm pumped. I can't wait to go.
As soon as you're driving up 80, within 2 miles of the university, you see the dome. You see Mother Mary on top. It's Jill's talking about it, but it's awesome.
When I hear that fight song played live in the stadium, it's gonna be tough to be a human being. I'm gonna lose it.
You know what'll get you when they start, and Kathleen Richardson. Here Come the Irish.
Yeah.
That one part in the song, "Here Come the Eye." Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Chills.
I'm pumped. I can't wait. Yeah, so we're doing that, and then that's I'm really, really excited for. But I'm actually I only have like I have 3 Notre Dame jerseys. So this is how long it's been since I bought like a jersey. I have a Zibikowski.
Okay.
I have a Brady Quinn.
Okay.
And a Jeff Samardzija.
I have Golden Tate and Everett Golson. That's what I got. So it's been a while for me too.
The only one I can actually wear is that did anything past Notre Dame would be Samardzija, but he did it in baseball.
He's still pitching. Yeah.
Yeah. Brady Quinn was just like the backup on every team, but the team wasn't good enough for him to even shine.
Like everyone else going to Cleveland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Cleveland ruined him.
He had so much talent, but then down the drain.
But so growing up, grew up in Shenandoah, correct?
Yeah, I grew up down on Center Street, down catty corner from Who's Place.
Okay.
Used to be a J Bar back then. Lived there till I was, I think I'd say 6. No, 12. I don't know, somewhere around there. Let's say 10. And my parents, we built a house up Shenandoah Heights on Ohio Avenue. Stayed there for, I don't know, 3-4 years. Then my parents got divorced, and I moved to Money City. We moved in with my gran and grandfather. Then from there, my mom bought a house back up Shenandoah Heights on Swatara. Stayed there. My mom stayed there till I was in college. Then my mom got a house with her now husband down in St. Clair. Met Crystal. And then February 1st, 2011, I moved in with her.
Yeah.
Money City.
How do you like living in Money City? Are you a West Ender or an East Ender?
No, we were East Ender.
Oh, you're East Ender.
Yeah, we were East End.
I'm a West Ender for life.
Yeah, you're West Ender, right?
Yeah, so I used to live on South Street,
Yeah.
behind I don't know if they changed it now. It's the one Mother Teresa. I think it's like the Mother
Saint
Teresa
Teresa.
Church. Yeah.
Church.
Used to be, it had a different name and then they changed it. But
Sure.
I
It was
lived.
Blessed Teresa, and then she was just ordained
Yes.
a saint. Or canonized, excuse me.
Yeah. So I lived behind that church.
Okay.
Was a little hellion. And then that house burnt down, and then we bought the house on Center Street.
On Center Street. Right on the corner.
The corner from the other corner of Pick-a-Pack, where Pick-a-Pack used to be.
Because I remember.
You came over swimming one time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, with a girlfriend when I was young.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I believe we met.
Yeah, we went. I think we went like golfing or mini golfing or something.
Yeah, we went. Then we go down
Heisler's. Yeah,
yes.
we did a Heisler's trip, and then we came back. We swam.
Swim,
We hung
yeah.
out. We hung out. You were living in Frackville at the time for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Frackville.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually up the street here.
Yep. You were
Yeah.
in Frackville, and then we hung out a few times there, and then you stopped dating that girl, which is probably a good move. I said it, you didn't. And then
No, it was.
yeah.
I didn't like the fact that I was a 21-year-old guy being told by his 18-year-old girl that I can't go to the bar.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I almost. The funny thing is, we almost dated, me and that same girl.
Yeah.
And we hung out a couple of times, and we'll just say we weren't compatible. And
That's a fair statement. She's a nice girl. You know what I mean?
and then
comes from a great family. It just
and then
didn't work out.
we didn't talk for a long time. And then she called me because another Monty City kid was giving her problems, and I showed up, and then a huge fight almost broke out. And then I met Heidi, and I was like, "Hey, you're really cute. Let's hang out." I'm like, "You know what? You're a Shenandoah girl. If I talk to you, you probably have a boyfriend. I'll be fighting some other Shenandoah kid tonight because they're rough towns, Monty City and Shenandoah. I mean, if you lived your whole life and didn't get into a fight living in Monty City or Shenandoah, then you're one of the 1%, I think."
I am one of the 1%.
Really?
I have never gotten into any fights with anybody from Money City when I was in Shenandoah. I was friend. Rest his soul, Jesse Price.
I love that kid to death.
Because my grandparents' house that I lived in was on East Pine Street. He was on Market.
Yeah.
So we, growing up, I was always over there on Sunday Zero playing kickball.
Yeah.
You know, all of them. And yeah, I became friends with a lot of the Money City guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't so much fight the other town. It was just I grew up in Monty City, and we just got in fights with each other.
Oh, well, Jesus. Yeah. Everyone, sure.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you how many beatings I took. Not so much gave, but that's neither here nor there.
We had a conversation with some friends from Pottsville the one day. We were talking about growing up the difference between growing up on one side of the mountain and the other, and I was like, I remember going to football games and like you had to like plan your way home or because like you literally went to a football game and if you weren't playing, you were fighting. Yeah. Like you kind of went with your crew and it was like West Side Story. Like you met like they got to the point where they like there was one section of the field that they weren't allowed to go to anymore because it was just like the fight spot. It was crazy. It happened and then it's not like that anymore. It kind of died off with our generation because then by the time we got to a point, it just kind of stopped. Yeah. But it was something that was a thing.
The rivalry's still there.
Yeah, the rivalry. Now they're not throwing rocks through bus windows and stuff anymore, right?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, that was a thing too. Like they used to have to. So I know your direction wise is terrible, but when you used to leave Shenandoah High School as a Monty City kid, you can make a left and then get to the light and then go straight through, and it's an easy way home. But the way Shenandoah used to be, we were the same way too, but it was easier for Shenandoah because you could just line the downtown section. You had to leave your like they did it once or twice. You had to leave your helmet on, and your bus got pelted with rocks and bricks and whatever it was.
I mean, so I've heard about that.
They used to take when you left the stadium, you had to go out through Gilberton and through that way home because you couldn't go through town.
Leaving Monterey, leaving Haven, and
Tamaqua
and leaving Minersville.
Yeah,
were the three places we always had to keep our helmet and shoulder pads on for the bus.
Yeah. It was rough. It was a good time though.
Well, no worries from Tamaqua. We'll say that.
Well, that's because 90% of your team was a band. Your football team had 28 kids and your band had 450.
Oh, so
yeah.
If the band were the Sutter Revolution, then I'd be worried. But
agreed. Somebody chasing your ass down with a fucking tool. But
we tell a story the one time where I remember playing and I'm warming up because I was the kicker. I'm warming up kicking, and I remember just watching the band come out of the school. And like they come down the hill, and they're coming in the stadium and approaching the bleachers, and I'm looking up and they're still coming out of the school. I'm like, what? Like, how do you make money putting people in that stadium? Because 90% of your bleachers was the band.
Yeah. The rest of us were walking around.
Yeah,
that was it.
It was huge. Yeah. It was packed. I was like, this is the biggest band I've ever seen in my life. It was like German's army walking down the hill.
And they're still like that.
Yeah.
They still have a great outshowing for their band.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing with high school sports for the most part, especially high school football games. Is hearing that band. It always brings you back. It's a great time being under the lights and hearing that.
It's funny. I don't know what year you graduated. You look like you're 18, so I'm not sure.
2011.
Oh, okay. The songs are the same.
Yeah.
Every song.
Monterey changed up a little bit. Like, not really. I mean, they do, but they don't. Like, there's some ones I still look forward to, but they don't do. Like, they used to release Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Seven Nation Army still always played at every high school event. When I coached for a little bit at North Schuylkill, they did a whole Queen section one year. Like, they played Don't Stop Me Now and stuff like that, which I loved. And I'd be singing on the sideline to my team, like, Coach, stop it.
When we get into movies, we got to talk to you about Bohemian Rhapsody.
We have a shared Voodoo account because he's a big movie guy, so he lets me log into his movies. But we didn't get Bohemian Rhapsody yet. I'm looking forward to it.
I have one too on my Xbox, but I can't log in. I just downloaded the app on the Xbox.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never signed in. If I did, I don't remember any of it because I tried to do it the one day on the computer, and it's like, we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got to look into that.
Voodoo's a cool thing. They have a lot of good deals on there as well. Like, you can get like a movie and you can watch on your phone. You can watch at home.
They have movies that for free. Like there's ads in them.
Yeah.
But there's some classic movies that
right. And most of the time when they have those free movies, they're usually like, oh, if you watch this movie before this date, we'll give you $2-3 credit for whatever your next purchase is. And I'm like, sure, I'll watch a movie with an ad or two. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're not long. It's just like watching YouTube. You know,
right.
You get ads.
There's ads. They're actually talking about possibly putting ads on Netflix.
I would cancel my subscription.
Yeah, they're thinking about it.
Immediately.
They're thinking about it. And they actually raise their price a little bit too.
Well, what kind of ads? Like ads for their stuff? Or
ads in general?
See, that's stupid to me. Facebook I can understand. YouTube I can understand. If you don't buy YouTube TV and you actually pay your subscription, they don't make money off of you. So I can understand that. Netflix, you can't watch Netflix without somebody paying for something.
So like I guess I could see them doing it if like they have a new show coming out or something and it's promoting their stuff. But if we're gonna have like a ShamWow commercial or something random in there, no. Yeah, I know.
Wasn't he a diddler or a rapist? Or
it was just the first commercial that popped in my head. I was like, ShamWow, let's go with
flag, buddy. Yeah. Red flag.
This is why I don't talk.
But yeah, so you said a little bit. When your parents got divorced, are you still like? What was the relationship with your parents growing up?
With me?
Yeah.
It's kind of, for me personally, I had both. You know what I mean? They were like, when I'm the youngest of three, my brother being the oldest. So when he was younger, my dad would work a lot. My dad he worked at the Cogen outside of Shenandoah for like 24 years or something like that. And off shift, on shift, day shift, night shift, things like that. So there was sometimes he wasn't around, sporting events, things like that. Whereas with me, as I got older, his shifts were changing. So, like, he got to coach me in Little League, and you know he was around for my sporting events, this and that. So I had a pretty solid relationship with both of them. Everything went well on my end. I mean, I don't really have any regrets.
Was the divorce tough on you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I was probably 14 when it happened. I think that's about right.
Yeah.
And my grandfather, my mom's dad, died when I was 12. That was the first family member I ever lost. Mm-hmm. So that was hard. That hit me pretty hard for a while. And then this on top of it. You get by. You know, you're old enough to understand what's going on, but too young to realize why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So it's like, did I do something kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
Then you get older, you look back, and it's just like, you know, it wasn't it.
And then you're young, going through your change in your hormones.
Oh, Christ.
That's a tough thing.
Yeah, but, you know, growing up through all of that, I had a lot of good friends, you know, that helped me with everything, just being there, just to talk, you know what I mean?
So, like, with that, since the divorce were you with your siblings the whole time, or was it?
Well, by that time, my brother was older.
Okay.
My sister was, when we moved to Monte City, my brother didn't want to move to Monte City, so he stayed with my dad in Shenandoah. Okay. So it was me, my mom, and my sister that moved over to my grandma's house. And then when we moved to Shenandoah, my sister stayed in Monte City because she was 19, 20 at the time, whatever it was. And so I went with my mom.
Yeah. And 1920 isn't like a huge, like, because for people that maybe if someone's listening to this and you're not local from the area, it's literally a 5-minute car ride from one town to the next. It's
4 miles.
It's not bad at all. But you're 14, 15 years old.
I still in high school, so
so your friends are changing. It's not easy, even if you're going to a smaller school. So just imagine you go to a school where it graduates like a couple hundred kids a year.
We had 86 kids in my graduating class.
Yeah. Wow. So when
which I think 86, 79. I think it sounds about right. Yeah. Actually graduated. Some were held back. Some died.
Yeah.
You know, some dropped out.
It's this small town area. Everyone knows you. Everyone knows your parents. Everyone knows everything. Like,
that's the thing. Yeah.
It's not easy.
Everybody's at least heard of everyone.
Yeah, and if you do something, you can easily become labeled or put in a group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can.
Yeah. It's tough living in a little tiny area. Yeah.
It has its pros and cons.
It does. It does have its pros and cons, but it's a challenge. Sometimes you're like, I had friends who came from New York, and they're like, I would see somebody and never see them ever again. Like, that's just how easy it is to never see somebody again in New York. I'm like, if you leave your curtains open, everybody at school knows what shirt you're wearing before you walk out of your house.
Yeah. That's true.
And like I said, you meet a girl or you do something silly on the weekend. You're coming to school, and you better believe every single person is going to know that story before you walk in the door, and you're like, I don't want to go in there.
Or you could just own it and be like, that was me.
Yeah.
I did that. This guy.
The movie Superbad to me always cracked me up when he's like, I hate that kid. Why? Remember when he pissed his pants in 3rd grade? Like that's a school and county thing. If you're the kid who pissed his pants in 3rd grade, you are the kid who pissed his pants till you graduate.
Yes. Yes. 10-year high school reunion. Didn't you piss your pants in third grade?
Yeah, you never get rid of it. You never get rid of it.
Oh,
wiggles. So growing up, you were an athlete, played some sports.
I did.
Baseball, football.
Basketball up until like 8th grade. Then I started getting fat. I'm like, yeah, this ain't for me. Yeah, I played Little League, CYO, or Biddy basketball into CYO basketball, then into 7th grade when I was on the 7th and 8th grade team. I played baseball from Little League all the way through teeners. For some stupid reason, I didn't play baseball in high school only until my junior year. And I got a little pissed off because if I didn't pitch, I didn't play. Which...
I would have figured you would have been a good hitter.
I'm actually... I can hit, but I was a better defensive player.
Really?
Yes. I had a good glove.
I was horrible at baseball.
I was a good pitcher. I wasn't great. I wasn't outstanding. I knew what I was doing. And if I didn't pitch, I didn't play. And that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth going into my senior year. To this day, looking back, I kick myself in the ass every time I think about it. And my baseball coach then is still the baseball coach now. And me coaching at Monoy, every time I see him, he's like, "See, I knew you loved baseball." And I'm like, "Yes, I know. I made a mistake." You know what I mean? It's one of those things that can change your outlook on life.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
And you could help change because now you're working the thing that excelled with me growing up and playing sports is I became a coach. I coached soccer. And I mean, I've done some things in sports that I'm proud of, but not proud of. Like I quit the football team at halftime of a game.
Why?
The short story, I worked really, really hard for the position I had. I was diagnosed in high school with a joint disorder, so hitting for me was completely out of the question because I would have hurt myself. I wasn't afraid to do it. I would have hit myself and put my shoulder back in socket any day of the week. I was told not to play sports at all, but that's all I knew growing up. And then the doctors were like, "Don't do it, don't do it." And I was like, "Well, it's never going to happen." So I went from the positions I liked just to becoming a kicker. I was supposed to be the kicker and a punter, and then it just became the kicker. And then my junior year, Jesse, God rest your soul, you bastard. He was a senior, so he had to kick. It was his spot, and all he did is he just walked up and towed the ball. He had a big giant tree trunk leg, and he towed it. And if his toe hit it perfectly, it was going straight down the middle. But if he had to put any English on it or there was any wind, he had a hard time. Where I knew how to adjust and put some on it because playing soccer. But I knew my role. I knew I wasn't a senior, and I knew that it wasn't my spot. So I was a JV kicker. It was very hard being a JV kicker because our line was a JV line.
You didn't score many points.
So yeah, we didn't score many points. I got to kick one field goal in Minersville.
Did you make it?
I made it. I didn't think I made it because it got tipped at the line. Because it got tipped in the backfield because as soon as we snapped it,
everyone's coming through.
I got crushed. So kind of like in the movie Invincible, Mark Wahlberg, I didn't wear thigh pads. I didn't wear hip pads. I didn't wear a cup. I didn't wear knee pads. I didn't wear a butt pad. I had the smallest shoulder pads I could find. And because I grew up my entire life not playing football, so when you put all that equipment on me, I couldn't move. I didn't know how to. I literally, it was like when you put blinders on a horse. I was like, I can't get used to this. Like my first couple of practice, I got crushed. Like every time running across the middle, I would just get destroyed. And some of the seniors on the team or older kids loved it because they're like, "Oh, here comes Tony." Like I remember another kid passed away, Tyler Smith. I remember I was just standing there, I was playing safety, and they run the same play 14 times, and it was not coming my way, and I was just bored, because I was growing up playing soccer. You move the whole time, you're active, you're doing something. In football, you're kind of like, oh, here we go, I'm just gonna sit here and wait. And all I was out there was to be a body bag. So I'm standing there and I'm kind of just not paying attention, and I'm looking up, and all I just feel is I get hit by a truck.
You got your old,
right? And I'm looking at the ground, and Tyler stands over me and goes, "Pay attention out here." And he just killed me for no reason.
Sure.
Johnny used to do it a lot too. He just, if I'm not watching, he would just come and smash. And I'm like, I'm not even part of the play. The play's way over there. But I was the kid. I was the new guy, so I took my lumps. But so we go to a practice. This is how I found out I was hurt. Ethan Kennedy's, we're doing Nutcrackers, and everyone's like, this is our running back, this is our star guy. And I had a coach at the time, I wouldn't even give him the satisfaction of his name because I'm not a big fan of him, but I feel he put the team against each other. Like, this guy wants your position. Get him.
I think that's a good thing.
So, before the season started, if you look at the kids we had when it came to physicality, and it came to mean, and it came to talent, my junior year, we were stacked. I mean, we had Jesse, Johnny, Tyler. Like, our team was good. We had Ethan, like talent-wise, we had a good squad.
I know.
And we played against the team who ended up winning state championship in the scrim, and we kicked the shit out of them. Like, we kicked the shit, like Xavier X or whatever their school was, or something X, Pius X or something.
Pius.
Yeah, like, they did really well that year, and we scrimmaged them and beat the dog shit out of them.
Yeah.
Because we were just mean. And then halfway through the year, the whole team hated each other because the style, in my opinion, the style of coaching was he had everyone not like each other.
I know. That was my senior year.
Yeah.
And when we played Monterey, it was at home. It was in Shenandoah. At that time, we were 8-1.
Yeah.
And the game we lost was in overtime in Minersville, who ended up winning districts. We blew the doors off teams, except that one game, we shot ourselves in the foot. I made a lot of mistakes that game at center.
Yeah.
The defense didn't play well. Offense couldn't get going. And we came into the Monterey game after just beating a Towanda team whose running back, he was like a frickin' ostrich. The kid was probably 6'3", 2 strides, he's taken like 7 yards. And I think coming into that game against us, he had like 1,700 yards already.
Yeah.
And we shut him down, and we beat him pretty good. And then we get Monterey the next week, and we beat us 14-0.
Yeah.
It's just like your talent was there.
We had the team chemistry wasn't there because we were too busy trying to fight each other.
You guys yelled at each other more than you yelled at us.
Yeah.
That game. I
yep.
remember.
And that was the big. So going into my senior year, I kind of already lost respect for the coaching staff in a way because I knew going in, like, I heard the conversation between people. Like a coach would walk up and be like, yo, this guy wants your position. You're gonna do something about it. And then instead of inspiring someone to play better, it made people hate each other.
Yes, if you're gonna instill that little bit of competition at practice is one thing.
Yeah.
During a drill, but to go over and talk to somebody on the side, and say that just seems like you're trying to butt heads for no reason whatsoever.
And it killed the morale of our team.
You can imagine.
So then we go to a practice, and I loved playing safety. Growing up playing soccer, I can take angles on the field. I understood. I watched where the ball was going, because in soccer, you watch the play before it happens, and then you don't have to run as much because you take an angle. Like, there's just certain angles you could take on a field that I learned in soccer that a lot of football players don't understand because you're not running as much in football as you are soccer. So I had an advantage in certain aspects. I had great cardio. I can run all day long, and if I had open field, you weren't catching me because I could run a 100-yard sprint faster than most people can, and I can continually do it because it's something I was used to.
Probably helped that you had less pads.
It did until you got hit.
Your shoulders hanging down there.
Yeah. So I was pissed. I played one practice at safety, and I had 4 interceptions at one practice. And every play I ran an extra, like Forrest Gump, extra 20 yards off the field because Johnny and Tyler and Johnny and Jesse were very, very upset that I was picking off and taking pick sixes. Like, I was doing really well. And I was like, this is my practice. Like, this is my practice. I'm going to shine here. I hated playing offense. I couldn't see to catch a ball. A helmet was not made for me. But if I was in the back of a field, I could read the play. And a quarterback put a ball in the air, I was going to get there before the ball hit the receiver.
Yeah.
That was what I was good at. And obviously I idolized Sean Taylor. I just couldn't hit like him because I was tiny as hell. So we go to a practice, and they're like, who's going to go against Ethan? Who's making a name for themselves today? And like Rudy, I get down, and he goes, Blackwell, get up. I said, blow the fucking whistle. And he goes, get out of here. I said, blow the whistle, or I'm not moving until he gets down. And I'm like, your funeral. And they got up, and I laid the best hit of my life. I hit Ethan really, really. He was a big boy. Like, he was strong. And I laid the best hit of my life. I picked him up and everything, and I hit him, and I rolled over top of him and landed on my feet. It looked awesome. And then I was like, man, my arm feels weird. Like, I can't feel my fingers. And I was like swinging my arm, and I was like, I don't feel that. Like, I have no feeling. And they thought I was celebrating, but I was just trying to throw my arm up. So everyone's like, yeah! And they thought I was showboating. So I walked over to the head coach, once again, not giving him the credit for his name, and he was like, get out of my effing face. Like, get away from me. And I was like, no, coach, something's wrong. Like, so I was standing completely straight up, and my fingers were touching my kneecap.
Oh, separated that bad?
Yes. So I was like... I didn't want to look at it. I didn't touch it, nothing. So I walked over to another coach, and I got the same response. And then I walked up to one of the coaches. I to this day, I still love him to death. Was Mark Lawrence. I walked up to Mark, and I was like, "There's something wrong." And he literally went under my shoulder pad, and he said, "He'll never forget it." He went to touch his fingers together, like his fingers touched together
through your skin,
through my skin.
Yeah,
my shoulder was not there.
Yeah,
and he looked at me and goes. I think he looked at one of the players that was hurt at the time, and he goes, "Get him in the trainer right now." And we walk in, and Donnelly and the other trainer were in there, and they looked at it like, "We're calling an ambulance." And I was like, I still haven't looked at it yet, and I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Tony, did you see your pec muscle?" Because I was very tiny. Like I was cut up, but I had no muscle mass. And I looked down at my chest, and my chest was like out to here. It was the ball of my shoulder. Oh. So nice. My shoulder didn't dislocate out the back or the front. It slid down into my chest.
Awesome.
Yeah. So awesome. and then I went to specialists and stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, you have an issue." And I was like, "Okay."
Clearly.
So they found out I had a joint disorder, and they're like, "Football's not going to be for you." And they're like, "Well, good thing you play football and not soccer." And I laughed, and they're like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I played soccer my whole life. Like, did you ever like do this with your ankles or your knees?" I'm like, "All the time." But the thing is, I did it so many times. I pay for it now, but like I would swell up an ankle, it would be black, and then I can walk on it the next day. So going into my senior year, all I did was kick, and my position was given to a junior, for reasons I think because last name issues. I think he had a good last.
Local town politics.
Yeah, he had a good last name. I didn't. And he had the yeah. So I actually had all the kicking stuff the team used was all my personal stuff because they never even thought of kicking a ball. Like it wasn't even an afterthought. The only thing I wanted to do was break the school record, which is 36-yard field goal, which I was doing that with no problem. Like I was like, I'm getting a school record. Like this is cool. And we went up for warm-ups, and I was like, why am I warming up with third string? And he's warming up with first string. And then I was watching, I was like, oh. And it was the first game of the year, and I was like, oh, I'm getting screwed. That's what's happening here. Like, they're giving my position away. We go into the game, we're getting blown out to the point where they're not even using the scoreboard. On my senior year. Yeah, they turned the scoreboard off and just left the clock running. They didn't even put the score up there anymore because that's how high it was. I was like, yo, there's a field goal. And I was like, can I go kick it? And they're like, they looked at each other, and the head coach goes to one of his assistants, tell him, meaning the other player, to get the block. And I went, are you going to use me at all this year? Like, am I going to stand here as like a senior and just not be utilized at all, and this is the only position I can play? And he looked at me and just laughed in my face. And I was like, cool. And I undid my shoulder pads. I took the belt out. I literally was going to strip down to my boxers, and then my dad screaming at me from the bleachers like, you're going to get suspended. So I just pretty much left my pants on, but to pull all the pads out. And then I was starting to walk, and then as I was like, oh, there's only a couple minutes, I'll just wait. So we waited, and then at halftime I just walked in, I cleared my locker out, and I left. And that was it. That was my end of my soccer. I left at halftime of a game.
My mother would have beat me. I don't know. You ever beat me? Put an ass kicking on me if I did that. My freshman year, I skipped the summer workout, hanging out with a kid that was on the team. We both played hooky for practice. She tracked me down like a bloodhound and grabbed me and took me to practice.
Yeah.
I paid for it with the coach, and never again.
Yeah.
Never again.
I was very dedicated. I never missed a practice. I went every single day. I did, even though I couldn't hit. They would literally say, just show up once a week and just do special teams. And I was like, no, that's not fair. I want to earn my keep. I will do everything the team does. You want us to run? You want us to do this? You want us to do that? I'll do it. Yeah. I have no problem. Like, I would be across the field where the baseball field is. Remember they had the old uprights up there? They used to, so
they're still there.
Yeah. I would practice on those uprights and then sprint when I heard them do a whistle for like the team to do sprints. I would sprint down and do all the running with the team. Like, I wanted to pay my dues, and I didn't get it because I didn't have the politic, I guess. I had no politics behind me. But I was just like, I'm not going to stand here and just not be utilized. Like, I'm just not, you're not going to play me. Like, I worked too hard. Like, sure. And I worked my ass off for it. And then the kid who took my spot, I think, quit 2 weeks after I did. Like, he got the position and then didn't want it either. He wanted to focus on basketball. I still get along with the kid. We're cordial, but I was just like, at the time in high school, I was like, not pissed at him because it wasn't his fault, but I was just like upset with the coaching staff.
It's amazing how different you look at your life now. Anybody,
yeah,
now compare it to high school. It's night and day.
100%. I always tell kids when I coach that things are going to change once you graduate. High school sucks. Like, it's not fun sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, but it's not the end. But a lot of people, they have a hard time with high school, and they think that the rest of their life is going to be this difficult. I mean, obviously it is with paying bills and stuff. But you know, kids can be cruel. They can definitely be cruel. But yeah, it's high school's challenging. It's very challenging, and they have it. I mean, there was stuff that we were able to do to get away with in school that if they did now, it'd be like a felony. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Yes.
It's different. It's a complete night and day. But growing up, we were talking a little bit off camera. We kind of had similar paths when it came to how we were growing up. This area, you know, I had two people. I had a guest on last week who she talked about her addiction issues and struggling with that. But she grew up in a Pittsburgh small town area, and I said it's very similar here too. You could easily get in that trap. We both had friends that we hung out with that did that stuff, and we were fortunate enough to not let it get caught up into it.
Drag you down.
You know what I mean? Because it could have been the way we were raised. Like, for me personally, it wasn't so much that and it may sound terrible, and I still love you to death, my mom and dad, but for me, I didn't want to take that route because I had a little brother he's 11 years younger than me. So my whole perspective of life kind of changed when he came around, because I struggled with depression, anxiety, and possible terrible thoughts that you know what I mean? But once he was born, I was like, okay, I have a different purpose. Like, I'm going to make sure he doesn't go through what I went through.
Sure.
So that's why I kind of drifted away from the crowds I drifted away from. But you can relate to this as well. Is like we have a lot of friends that are no longer with us because of that. You know, it sucks.
The number's frightening.
It is.
If you think about it, like, even if it was a close friend, someone that, you know, was your brother, your best friend, this and that, or just someone you heard of, or you knew, or you hung out with a couple times, this and that, and it's like that. You know what I mean? How quick, you say, the creature can get you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You get sucked in that black hole.
Oh, it's disgusting. I have friends, some I'm still friends with today. They make questionable decisions, but I'm not the type of person to judge that.
I don't either.
I made bad decisions, and some people will say, oh, why do you talk to him? He's a piece of shit, or he's a bum. I'm like, dude, you can't fault people for every single thing they do wrong. Where would we get?
Yeah.
Where would we
And
get?
sometimes that person needs that support system to get better.
They do.
Right.
And, now there's also some other friends that I have that I give that support to, but yet it's falling on deaf ears.
Yeah.
And at that time, it's just like, hey, man.
You got to kind of go through it to get better.
I'm offering, my support or anything like that, but if you're not going to make these steps on your own, don't waste my time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it tears you up inside. Because you see the good in these people.
Right.
But you think they can't see it in themselves. You know what I mean?
That's Jesse. That killed me. That kills me.
Yeah.
To this day, last interview, I didn't really say his name but we talked about, she said growing up and she's lost people, and one of the main things for me was losing Jesse. That fucked with me bad. That was tough. That was tough for me. So I don't know if you heard the last interview. He was actually here the night before he died.
Was he?
Yes, and he talked to me and he was like, man, I want to get better. I want to get away from certain people. I want to get away from that crowd. I know you're a straight edge person. Let's get back to work. Because when he worked with me a little bit at this one job, we went to the gym every day. He was starting to train for fighting because he didn't know about UFC. I taught him UFC. I was like, instead of punching some guy in the face in a bar, you have a great wrestling background. Look at this sport. You would be phenomenal at it. And he tried it a couple times. He did pretty well.
Yeah.
If
his name, the White Ape.
Yeah, that makes the White Gorilla or something like that. Because that suited him very well.
Very fitting.
But yeah, it just sucks seeing people go down that road. I mean, we lost Tyler. We lost Jesse. There's countless others. You know what I mean? It sucks.
Yeah.
It's terrible to see. And then you see other people that maybe you weren't, for me anyway, that I wasn't super close to growing up, and you're just like, holy shit, you're doing good for yourself, man. That's awesome. Like, you didn't fall in that trap.
Yes.
And it's nice to see that.
There's not as many as you would like, but they are out there. And those little success stories, however minute, are good to see. You know what I mean? Because you know that hey, listen, he did it. You know, there's a chance. Why can't you?
Right.
Yeah.
But then you start talking to these specific people about these things and trying to change your life and for the better and this and that, and they're just like, oh, fuck that, I don't want to do that. It's like, dude, what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right now, you're going to either end up dead or in prison.
Yeah, there's no other way.
That's it.
There's no other outcome to that story.
It can really only go up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you're messing with certain stuff, like how we talked about last one, the heroin, like it's not a fact of how there's no happy end to that story. It's going to catch you.
It is.
And it sucks. It sucks so bad. Like, but you know, it's once they get that addiction and that, you know, and people can agree to disagree if it's a disease or not. But once you start, man, it's like it's hard to stop it. It's super hard to stop it, and because you get super sick, and then once you're not, it's just there's so much more to it. But kind of going back to what I was talking about, how we growing up. We hung out a couple times. We did. I didn't like me as a person, and we both walked a very similar path. We come from good parents. We come from good families. We come from, you know, I mean, we had a good support system.
Yeah.
But, you know, we hung out with questionable people that did questionable things and kind of gotten ourselves in situations we shouldn't have got into. But but we were fortunate enough to not get caught up in it.
Yeah, let it consume you.
So, but I always kind of kept tabs and eyes on you, because obviously small town, and you always keep crossing paths. And then I was fortunate enough to find an amazing woman, and then you as well. And you know, you've as a person, we're not the same people we were before.
I do not know where I would be right now if I hadn't met Crystal.
I 100% agree with the same thing with Heidi.
Man, it's insane to think about how I was, how I used to be, and the shit I used to get into. Arguments, trying to, you know, be Tommy Tough Guy with these people for no reason. And then I met her, and it's just like, shit, man, I don't got to be like that anymore.
There's no reason. Because it's to the point now in this area where if you get into a fight, it's not like back in the day where I got in a fight, you got in a fight, and then we just walk away. People are pulling guns and knives. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I couldn't tell you the amount of times I got a gun pulled on me.
Yeah.
The way I was younger, like you said, when we first met, you know, I was a little rough around the edges. I didn't make the greatest first impression.
I didn't either. I was completely guilty of that.
A lot of that stems from when I was in high school. Not so much when my parents got divorced or nothing like that. I was picked on a lot when I was younger, you know, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. And then as I matured through high school, a lot of that stopped. You know, I got bigger. I was able to stand up for myself a little more, gained a little bit more self-confidence. I always had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Like, you know, if this person, one little sideways look or just a little undertone in their voice,
it was on. For me, it was.
Yeah, I was very defensive. I was, and I still am. I'm a little cocky now, sarcastic more than I am cocky. Just, you know, getting older and realizing what's the point.
Yeah.
But back then, it's just like I said, I couldn't tell you. I got a gun pulled on me one time for trying to break into some guy's house. Not break in. The guy was home, and it was late. Well, it was early in the morning, and I didn't want to go home yet. And I was knocking on his door, and he's, I'm not drinking anymore, this and that. And it was summertime, so his window was open, so I tried to open up his screen. Next thing I know, I hear the door open, I turn around, and there's a 9mm point. I'm like, oh, fucking A. So then, you know, I went away, and I got in my car, and I'm driving home, and I thought to myself, what is going on here? You know what I mean? And that was the first real epiphany, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I got to change my shit around. So I didn't, of course, but it wasn't to that extreme. And then a couple years later, we were in Gerardville for the parade, and a mutual friend, what's that bar upstairs with the second floor?
The biker.
No, not that one. The other one across the street.
Second
Street.
Yeah,
right up there. There's karaoke and everything going on. And a mutual friend introduced me to this girl, and I was bombed. She was bombed. And we're like, no, I'm good, man. We absolutely no interest in each other whatsoever. So then, that was in March. A couple months later, we meet up again, and we'll say, yeah, she's like, let's go get some lunch. All right. So the day comes, I stood her up. I didn't go, because I was interested in another girl at the time who had similar interests, if you catch my drift, as me at the time. And that was it. And then I think like a year or so went by, and I was over in Monte City, and I was driving past the Village Inn, and she was outside either walking to another bar or whatever it was, and I saw her, so I flipped a bitch and went back, and I started talking to her, and then we just started talking, and we actually went out, for something. We went to whose place, or whatever, and then it caught on, and to this day, I am extremely grateful that that conversation took place that second or third time.
Yeah.
Because, where I was to where I'm at now is for the better.
Yeah. You finally find somebody in life. I mean, and it's not a knock against like your parents or your loved ones or your family, but when you finally find that person that gives you like a meaning or a purpose, or you think of that person before you think of yourself, it's powerful. It's a powerful thing. It's a great thing. Now, another cool thing that kind of going back when you guys started dating and stuff, she had a very big transformation. She got super healthy. She actually was in some magazines for her weight loss, and so you guys both kind of like you guys inspired each other to become better people. Like she did it health wise and getting herself straight. And
she was on that track before. She started on that before we got together, but it continued. And there were days that I was ready to brain her when she was dragging my ass up to Vulcan.
Yeah. She worked her ass off.
Oh man, I don't know if he's ever done that. You probably did.
I did a couple times, the Vulcan walk.
Holy Christ. That'll whip you up really good. And she would do it religiously, and it paid off for her.
Yeah.
And she's still the most beautiful woman in the world, you know what I mean? But her determination doing that was an eye opener for me. Listen, if she can do this, why can't I do certain things? You know what I mean? That's what got me not motivated, but it got me involved or wanting to get involved with coaching kids. I started off when I moved over here after a couple of years. I was asked by one of the head coaches for the 5th and 6th grade team to come down and help them out. So I'm like, yeah, I'll try it out. And then by the next year, I was the assistant head coach. And just from there, it got the ball rolling. And it just, because you see a lot of it, but you don't see a lot of it. People just wanting to be there, not just for their kid, just for the kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just felt like that was an opportunity for me to try and do a little bit better, make an impact in someone else's life.
Yeah.
Because not everybody's cut from the same cloth. Everybody comes from different upbringings, this and that, financially or whatever. And just being able to help a kid a little bit, even if it's just studying for that test, or not throwing a rock at that anything. You understand what I'm saying? Just something simple. Yeah.
That was the thing with me too as a coach. Is I always had that mentality going in. Is I don't want to just make you a better athlete. I want to help you become a better person.
Oh, the sports had nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
it was all about becoming a better person.
100%.
Being a football coach or being an athlete, playing football. That's the type of team environment that you need if you want to try and change your personality around. I think. Baseball is a team sport. Basketball is a team sport, but there are also the me scenarios in those sports. You know what I mean? If you're a pitcher, this game can be made or broken by you. Whereas on a football team, everybody's got to work together. Granted, you can make that block or you can make that catch, make that throw, whatever, but you can't make that throw if the receiver don't run his route. Or you can't make that throw if the line ain't blocking. It's all coming together. So that's something I instilled on the kids that, listen, we're not just here for me. We're here for we. That's what I would always say to them. We got to do this together or we're going to fall apart individually. And you can't do that. You got to come together. And that all starts with becoming a better person. Recognizing your responsibilities, owning your responsibilities, and taking the consequence for the actions that you take. You know what I mean? I use the 3 F's. Family, faith, and football. That's what I'd always teach to the kids. Religion's a touchy subject, we all know that, but my belief was you have your family first, then you have your faith, and then football came after. And the family end was, I said, your personal life at home, your relationship with your teachers in school, they all fell into the family end. Mm-hmm. Faith, whatever God you believe in, if any, you know, whatever higher power that you need to have a conversation with, just do it. You know, whoever it is. And then the football, that'll just fall into place. If you can get those 2 things in a straight line, mm-hmm. the rest of it's just going to all fall in.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like, I wish I can do it again, but now doing this, I feel it's my next chapter. Like, talking to people and...
Dude, you guys doing this mm-hmm. is one of the best ideas I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. Just sitting down with random people and just talking, having a conversation, figuring out about people. It's amazing. Because there's some people I know that are socially awkward, that can't hold a conversation to save their life.
They can, just not on camera.
Yeah. But there's also people that can hold a conversation that just, if it doesn't benefit them, they don't really care.
Yeah.
You, and this isn't a cut against you, because I said I just met you.
Right.
And two, some of the videos I've watched, you've said probably 15 words. You seem genuine, like you care, like mm-hmm. you give a shit about what you're actually talking to these people about, and I thank you for it, because it's an amazing thing you're doing.
I appreciate that. That's the main thing. Like I said, I don't want to. If anything ever comes of it, that's the big thing. But if someone can hear someone's story and it benefits them, even if they can't even relate to the story, mm-hmm. they just say like, "Hey, for me, example, like I like Joe Rogan a lot. Yeah. There are certain things that Joe Rogan talks about that I will probably never experience in my life. But if I come across someone who did, I could be like, hey, I heard this before, and this is kind of what I heard about it.
Any little bit to help.
Yeah, and you kind of make yourself a little more well-rounded. Mm-hmm. But I do, like I said, I was a person growing up that I didn't really give a shit about everybody else. Like, picked on, bullied, beat up, the whole mm-hmm. nine, and where I was just like, I don't care if I live or die. Then my brother came, and then I was like, now I kind of have a little more of a purpose.
You find a reason.
Yeah, I found a reason, and then I just like... I would have these conversations with my brother, like, hey, man, like, I know you're not going to, like, you're going to have to forge your own path. You're going to have to experience stuff. You're going to have to fall down. You're going to have to get your heart broken.
You got to learn, but let me offer you this bit of advice from where I fell down.
Yes, sure. and I could be wrong, but I think my brother turned out all right. Like, you know, I think there was a point where he was starting to get caught up in a trap in this area, and he immediately thought, you know what, I had that support. Now I'm going to go join the military and get away from it for a little bit, because I know... there's nothing here for me right now.
I got that from my brother too.
Yeah.
Me being the youngest, I said, of 3. Christ. My brother Piggy, I call him. If somebody's done it, chances are he's done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So a lot of the shit that I got wrapped up in, he's been there, you know, as all older people usually are to one degree or another. And he guided me a lot as far as, dude, you're fucking up. You gotta get your shit together, this and that. And to this day, I don't show it a lot because I'm kind of a tough love kind of guy. Mm-hmm. But I love that. I love that kid with every bit of my being, because he molded me for better or worse to where I'm at now. And when you see this, John, thank you. So that was just my sister. Believe it or not, she's the toughest of the 3 of us. My sister has been through so much shit in her life, and she always comes out of it. It kind of reminds me of from the Shawshank Redemption. Mm-hmm. Man crawled through a mile of shit and came out clean on the other side. That's my sister. She finds a way to overcome every obstacle in her life. Mm-hmm. And I relate to that because that helps me through certain things.
Yeah, no matter what you're going to go through, there's always the end to it.
There's a light at the end of every tunnel.
You just got to focus.
No matter how long that tunnel is, you'll come out of it okay. Mm-hmm. To something like
it's. I always tell people it's easy to lay down and die. It's easy to become negative. It's easy to say it's never going to get better. That's the easy route to take. Yeah. It's easy to give up. It's that perseverance, that hard work.
Her now, what she's going through now, I won't get into specifics. Mm-hmm. But the perseverance that she's showing, the things that she's doing is absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah.
So, another one, Renee. Thank you.
Now, you and Crystal have a child. your little boy.
A little hellion.
Yeah, a very cute kid. It looks like a blast. I like reading your posts every day. I don't have kids, but there's a few people on social media that that I enjoy watching their stories on social media when it comes to their children, because to me it's hilarious. I'll give a quick plug. Rich Fisher and Tesla Fisher, their kids story. Yeah. She is hilarious on social media. Yeah. Like, I don't have a kid, so some of the stuff I can't relate. But like when she tells me she's having stories of kids puking everywhere, just like
I'm still good friends with Rich, so I have a
they're cool people. Samantha Shapansky and her little boy crack me up. Like the videos of that kid is just Tanner's and then about your story, what your little guy like
Daxton.
Yeah, just fun. Like, and then he puts like photos of like a guy in a gangster outfit, and it has your kid's face.
Daxton's rap album.
Yes. Daxton's rap album is coming out next June. It's on Spotify.
So how long were you guys together when you had your first child, and how did that impact you as a person having your first child?
Well, we got together. I said we made it official December 1st of 2010. We got engaged, I think it was August 1st, 2012, and we got married April 14th, 2014. Dax was born December 4th, 2016.
December 4th?
Yeah.
It's a day before my birthday.
Is that?
I'm December 5th, yeah.
December 4th. He shares a birthday with Crystal's Uncle Greg.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was...
Don't double gift him. It happens all December babies.
No. There's that 2-week window. So when we found out we were pregnant with Dax, we were trying for a bit. Like trying. And then it wasn't happening, so we're just like, let's stop trying. Not... How can I say this without making not stopping the act, just stopping to try and have a baby.
Getting the mental anguish of it didn't happen.
Because it became frustrating. It's just like, what are we doing?
Just too much pressure.
Sure.
And just if it happens, it's gonna happen.
There we go. You know, couple weeks later, I'm pregnant. Yay! You know, we're having a baby.
Because the stress of it, like people don't realize how powerful stress is. That, I mean, once you kind of let that go and like
have a kid, you want to talk about stress?
I'm not going to let myself stress over it, and then obviously you just kind of just enjoy each other, and it happened. It happened.
That's where we got to. Let's just be married, you know, have our fun, you know, this and that, and then hands down, the greatest moment in my life was in the delivery room watching him being born, not knowing how. I told Crystal this, and she's like, "Oh God." The sights in the delivery room didn't bother me. Just the smell. You know, it was weird, like, you know, the blood and everything, you know, when a baby's born. And I said to her, it kind of reminded me of, like, the smell when I got a deer.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? I'm like, I don't know. It's what came to mind.
I don't know how I would handle it.
When Dax was born, we played Born in the USA. I cranked it on my phone, Springsteen.
Mushroom would probably love that.
Yeah, we told him that. He got a kick out of it. So yeah, he just turned 2 this past December, and he is keeping us on our toes like you would not believe.
What is he into at this age?
Oh, everything.
Yeah, like, you know, kids like are in their dinosaur phase or this, that.
All of it. Cars, big. Everything's a car. Yeah. He don't know truck, fire truck, ambulance. He tries to say ambulance, but it doesn't come out right. But every car. Like every Monday when the garbage truck comes, like today, we were eating dinner. He's sitting in his booster seat, right? I strapped in bib on. Krista goes, Dax, look, the garbage truck. He goes, where? Car. And he almost jumped out of his booster seat to go out. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll stop eating. I took him outside. Hi, car. And he's like, he loves them. He's just cars, man. Everything cars. The amount of Hot Wheels that are out there still blows my mind. From when we were growing up, you know, Hot Wheels. Yeah, and they're still made really well. You think about plastic? No, they're made good.
When I lived, I was a big, not a car guy, but I enjoyed my toy cars at one point. But I remember I was like 7 or 8, and right behind the church, you know, where like Father Wassel or Monsignor Wassel had his driveway that went down, and it was garage. I would line it up with cars, and I would just push them one by one and let them race each other down the thing. And then his garage door would open, and he's ready to leave, and I'm down there like
trying to get all your cars back,
stuffing them in my shirt.
Yeah, making like, that little pocket in your shirt, trying to get everything.
And he's like, "I told you to stop playing your cars." So I had that stage as well at one time.
He has his markers, and his crayons and everything else. Color. All right.
Has he done the walls yet?
I just threw out every single one of the markers that he has. What does his Uncle Pappy get him for Valentine's Day? Another set of fucking markers. we haven't broke into them yet, so I'm kind of trying to hide them a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Because he runs around, hey, look at me running. And, dude, you fall on that, you're going to know it. Oh, okay, drawing on the walls. I'd rather you run with the thing, you know what I mean?
Get that magic erase, that's what they all say, gets them off.
Well, surprisingly, I don't know if it was just the type of marker they had, but the baby white took them right off.
Really?
Yeah. Which was good.
Now, this the story here that a lot of people we're talking about here, you were having a second child.
Yes. March last year, baseball season we just started our practices, so I was gone after work, go to practice, come home. And before March, Crystal was sick. She got bronchitis. It was a pretty strong case. So she was really sick with that. And then she was dizzy, and which was odd for a case of bronchitis and whatnot. So it was early March last year. I don't remember exactly the date. We were sitting there. We were at the table. We were eating dinner. She's like, "Man, I really don't feel good." She goes, "I think I'm pregnant." I said, "Come on. You're just getting over your antibiotics and whatnot. Let's see what happens." She's like, "No, seriously." So she runs upstairs. Me and Dax are still sitting at the table eating. She's upstairs. I could hear her rustling around in the bathroom. And then I hear quiet. And then all I hear is, "Brian!" I'm thinking, oh God. So I took Dax out of the chair. I didn't even clean nothing up. We walked into our living room, and you could see to the steps there, and she's just standing on the landing with the test in her hand. So I'm thinking, all right, it wasn't planned. Wasn't planned, but we weren't avoiding it. You know what I mean? So we're having another baby. She went to the doctor, got it confirmed, and we just went on, like normal. Everyone says every pregnancy is different, right? Mm-hmm. They say if you're pregnant with a girl, the mother's usually really, really sick, like vomiting. When she was pregnant with Dax, fine, like she would dry heave and whatnot, but the pregnancy was great. She even said, I had a perfect pregnancy with him. So now this time she's sick, she's vomiting and this and that. So I'm thinking, it's a girl. Which, to throw that wives' tale out the window, doesn't mean shit, because it wasn't a girl.
Yeah.
So a couple months goes by and she's still sick. And not like super sick, just, I'm dizzy, I'm not feeling well, the pregnancy was hitting her a little harder. The one day, I think it was a Saturday, it was a weekend because we were home. Crystal works every other weekend. And so she was home and she was godly sick, like bad, like laying on the couch, covered in blankets, shivering, pouring sweat, right? So I'm thinking, this is weird. And it didn't have anything to do with it. She was just, sick. But in hindsight, going back, what does your body do when it's trying to fight off an infection? You break a fever, right? Mm-hmm. Your body's trying to overwork itself. So that was, let's say, May, right? So we get in the June 4th, I think it was, we went and we found out we were having another boy. So we came home the next day, we were outside, and we were trying to think, we didn't want to do this big elaborate birth announcement, gender reveal like we did with Daxton. Daxton, we got some tannerite. And this one guy, I don't know how Crystal got put in touch with this guy through one of her co-workers. And he set up this big thing, made a sign and everything for it, bought the tannerite, and bought bags of chalk line. I use in a chalk line. Put it out. I took my AR, shot the target, blew up. Yay, we got a big picture session and all done.
I did see that, the big explosion.
Yeah. So this time we wanted to do it a little bit more low key. So all we did, we got blue sidewalk chalk and scribbled a lot on our pavement, or at the bottom of our back steps on the concrete, and then we put Dax, had him walk in it, and they rubbed his feet in it, because we tried drawing on his feet, it was tickling him, so it wasn't working. So I'm like, let's just try to make a big puddle of dust and put him in it. So we sat him on the steps, holding the sonogram, or the ultrasound, whatever they're called, and we pushed him back so his feet were sticking up, and you could see the blue on the bottom of his feet. That's how we announced we were having a boy. I think that was June 5th. The next day, June 6th, was a Friday. No, it was a Thursday. She was up in bed. She always goes to bed before me. She just goes up reading her books or just relaxing in bed. She's like, Brian, something's wrong. Like, something's not right. And she was spotted, which girls tend to do when they're pregnant. But it was red blood, pink blood, like new blood. So she's like, I'm having contractions. Something's wrong. So she called up to the hospital where she works, got a hold of the OB that was on call, that was there. I forget his name, Russian guy, good doctor. And she was talking him through it. She's like, I'm timing these. I'm having contractions. And, he was asking her, are you doing this? Are you doing that? Because there's things you can do, drinking water, a couple other things to prevent that. And she's like, I've been doing it all night. So it was around 10 o'clock, I guess. She's like, Brian, I got to go to the hospital. I'm like, well, do you want me to go? I'll wait back up. She's like, no, stay here. She's like, I'll take the truck up. She took my truck up. And she's like, stay here. If I need you, I'll call you. So I'm like, all right. So it was a weekday. I worked the next day. So I fell asleep. But I put my phone on, I put the vibrator off so it would ring. So I fell asleep. She called me at about 11:15, 20 after 11. And she said to me, she's like, Brian, and she was very calm. She's like, Brian, I need you to call Peyton, her cousin, who was a senior at the time. She's like, I need you to have her come to the house, stay with Dax, and I need you to come up to the hospital. She said, we're going to lose the baby. So I just woke up. What? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just come out of sleep. You're just like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? No, this ain't real. What are you talking about? So then, she's like, you need to come up here. She's like, if you cannot be here, I will call my Aunt Steph. But she goes, I need you to get up here. So I'm like, all right, I'll call Peyton. As soon as she comes, I'll leave. So her one coworker, Ann Jankus, just got off a shift. She worked till 11:30. She was with Crystal for a bit. She said, Crystal, I'm not going to have him drive up here. 2 cars with me. She's like, I'll just go pick him up. So I waited at the house, pacing in my kitchen. You want to talk about bad thoughts that go through your head? I couldn't tell you what I was picturing in my head. So Peyton came. She stayed at the house. Ange got there, picked me up, and we drove up to Hazelton.
Longest car ride of your life.
Yeah. By the time I got to the hospital and got up to the OB floor, my son was stillborn. She gave birth to him at that point. We get in, I get in the room, she tells me, and you die inside, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care how tough you are, you think you are, or anything like that, nothing will ever prepare you for something like that. So, what happened was, when she drove up, she's driving up 81, she was having contractions. She knew it. She got into the main parking lot of the hospital, and she got out, stopped the truck, got out, and as she's walking in, her water broke. So they immediately, I said she works there, so she made some calls, they knew she was coming, they immediately took her up. She's in the one OB room, or whatever it is, on the OB floor. And she got up to go. She asked the nurse, can I go? I have to go to the bathroom, I have to pee. And when she did, Lincoln was came out then when she was in the bathroom. And I don't know how, as a person, you can experience something like that she had to go through, and still go on with your everyday life after that. It's not easy, of course.
No.
Like the anguish, the grief, it's not something that can just, whatever.
It's like it doesn't disappear.
No, dude. And no. So by the time I got there, she told me all of this, and of course we lost our shit, you know. So the nurse came back in. They gave us time to ourselves, of course, and we just, like, it's so surreal, you know what I mean? Like, what do we do? Where do we go from here? And by this time, it's probably 12:30 Friday morning, 1 o'clock Friday morning. So the nurse came back in after a while and said, "We'd just like to hold your son." And me, with all these crazy thoughts I have, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't see him, because I'm thinking of all this crazy horror movie shit. Like, I'm not mentally and physically ready to do this.
How far along was she?
19, just under 18 weeks. 24 weeks, a baby's considered viable, which means if something like this should happen at or past 24 weeks, they can try and sustain. They can resuscitate, they can NICU, all that other stuff. I don't know what they're called, incubated.
I have a cousin. He was born very, very, very early.
They can do that,
and they were able to bring, like, he pretty much did the rest of his what you would have done in a womb in an incubator. Yeah.
So at 24 weeks, so we were well before that. And they're, do you want to hold your son? This and that, and I'm going on and on. I don't know if I can do this and that, and then I'm glad I did. The nurse brought him out. He fit in the palm of her hand. He put her on her chest, and we got to hold our baby boy for maybe 10 minutes, you know. And the nurses there are amazing people. One nurse baptized him, and then people might think this is weird, but I don't give a fuck. We took a picture of Lincoln, and we took our son. So after that, we tried to get some sleep. She stayed in the hospital. I slept till maybe, I don't know, an hour or two, whatever it was. 6 o'clock, I think I got up. I went back home. Got some clothes together and stuff for her. Mainly, I also had to get home to get Dax up. Let Peyton go home so she can get ready for school. And I took Dax to daycare. And I told Lee, she's the head lady at the daycare. I've known her my entire life too. She's an amazing person. What happened? And I said, can you just keep Dax here, you know, for the day till we get our shit together, you know? So we went back. I went back up to the hospital with all of her stuff. Then I just had to figure out funeral arrangements for Lincoln, and we went with Davey Jarrett here in Monty City.
Good guy.
He's an amazing person. He took care of us. His slogan, "We treat your family as family," is not bullshit. Like, everything we needed, everything, he took care of all of it for us. So later on that day, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, whatever it was, they discharged Crystal, and we went home. And I called my boss and like, listen, I'm not gonna be in for a couple days. And I told him what happened and everything like that. And then the next 8 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it was. Worst time of our life. I'm just trying to collect the pieces. You know what I mean? We decided to, we buried Lincoln up on her family's plot, up with her grandmother and grandfather, because as you know, Crystal lived with her grandmother up until she passed. So we buried him there. We had a private ceremony. It was me, her, and my mom, unfortunately, at this time was in Texas, so she couldn't be there. So my dad was there, and her Uncle Mark Pecky was there.
Yeah, another good dude.
And we had a little ceremony. Father Gallagher came up, and then, yeah. It's not something you ever anticipate or imagine you're going to go through. But since it's happened, the amount of outpouring that we've had from people that just you wouldn't even expect have been a rock for us. You know, just to be able just to fall back on, just to talk, you know what I mean? The other side of that coin, some relationships that we've had for a long time through this whole grieving process that we've been going through have severed. We've had to sever some relationships that were dear to us. And it's just some people couldn't understand why we felt the way we felt about certain things. And her and I both said, we can't keep this in our life. You know, we've got to separate ourselves. We've got to distance ourselves from this stuff. And it's hard, but in the long run, do I foresee this being a permanent removal? I personally don't think so. I think the mantra, time heals all wounds, is a real thing.
Yeah.
But it's like being in a club you don't want to be in. You know what I mean? The amount of people just in our area, I'll just say just north of the mountain, that this has happened to is disgusting. Like, it's frightening, actually. You know what I mean? But there are programs, there are nonprofits out there that can help you just with anything, just to say, hey, we're thinking about you. One being Sweet Grace Ministries. They're an organization out of Chambersburg, PA. They sent us up a basket, a grief basket, or I don't know exactly what it was called, but that's what I call it. Just little things, a little blanket, a little hat, something like that, personalized stuff to our son Lincoln. I got this, and this hasn't left me since then, since I got it. They're an amazing group of people that are there for support, to talk and get you involved, help you any way they can. And turns out since last year, Crystal's got involved with them, and now up at the hospital, she is the Sweet Grace liaison, if you will, for the Hazelton, I don't know if it's Schuylkill, Luzerne, whatever area, it encompasses a certain amount, but she does it for the hospital. So
she helps other families that are going through this.
Yes, there's going to be a meeting coming up soon. I don't remember the date, but it's going to be over the church by the Brown Bag. I forget, the St. Michael's or St. Nick's. I don't remember exactly what church that is, but if you know where it's at, you can reach her or myself via Facebook. And if anybody needs any assistance with anything like that, we're more than happy to point them in the right direction and offer any kind of assistance that we can. And there were two people that helped us out a lot, Karen and Kara, through this whole thing. They've unfortunately experienced the same thing we have, and they were so helpful for us. So to you too, thank you. You know who you are. It's just, it's a tough thing to discuss, but that's where everything gets lost. You have to discuss these things.
You can't bottle it up.
There's a hashtag, say their name. And this was just and I'm sorry for getting choked up before.
No, this is completely understandable.
And very open public forum to do when people see this, but you have to discuss it. You got to talk about this stuff because there's help. Mm-hmm. There's people that care. There's people that want to be involved in helping you heal, however that may be, however long that may take. Mm-hmm. So,
I do know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's wonderful that like there are people out there that are willing to do this stuff for you guys, mm-hmm. and now you guys are turning that around mm-hmm. and also helping other people that are going through this. And I mean, as horrible of an experience as it is, being able to find those people that you may never have expected to have been there for you and having them be there, I'm sure is an incredible thing that will help you
absolutely
keep going.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that just like I said, we always kept tabs. I always kept tabs on you, and we always had that mutual understanding and respect for one another. I had a lot of friends, you know, we're very close with people at the Red Zone. Mm-hmm. I know after this happened, there was a few people who were like, when they talked to her, she was, the grieving process was tough for her, and they were like, people were concerned and worried, and a lot of people, like you said, the people reaching out to you was mm-hmm. good. It is tough, but anything when this is over, I know it's to be fresh in your mind, but send us any links or information that you guys used or you guys are reaching out, and we'll put everything in the description as well, so other people can learn from that. Yeah, it's definitely not easy. And then you have to go and explain to people, and then you're going through. It's just it's something that's never going to go away. It never should go away because mm-hmm. you want to always have that remembrance of your son. And
there's a day in October. I don't remember what the date is. It's National Infant Loss Awareness mm-hmm. Day, and that day every year down at Lehigh Valley in Allentown, in their one auditorium, if you will. Last year was the first year, of course, that we went. It's a room full of people that all went through this situation and that suffered a loss, albeit after birth or stillbirth, anything like this. And last year they had two people, a woman tell her story, and then a husband and a wife come up and tell their story. Both stories were completely different, but yet they were the same
common.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said. It's
if I can get that date, Crystal. She remembers everything. She has it all written down. So I'll get with her and I'll get that info to you. Even just the date and the location. And if anybody wants to, they can It's open to anybody. It's free. You know, they have coffee, snacks and whatnot there. But just to go out and just to hear that you're not alone. I can tell you if this ever happened to whoever, I can say you're not alone. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean anything. To actually go out and see and sit and listen and take in that shit. He's right.
Yeah.
I am not alone here.
October 15th.
Is that when it is?
2019, October 15th.
Down Lehigh Valley? There you go. October what?
15th.
October 15th.
6:30.
At Lehigh Valley in Allentown. It's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, I kind of partnered up with.
Thank you.
We're starting to partner up a little bit with. It's a place in Pottsville called Culture to Culture. Mm-hmm. They kind of do different topics every week, but a lot of it they go from like. I know this month is all about the criminal justice system mm-hmm. and if it's working or if it's not working, but they change their topic every month, and it's the same thing. It's a get together of people, and they all go up and tell their stories, like mm-hmm. an open mic, kind of very similar to our podcast, and it's that fellowship and that people coming together and helping each other. So it's how you're saying, like you can't just swallow it and move on with your day. Like mm-hmm. you have to grieve. You have to. Another big thing with us too that we can definitely relate to is you grow up as an Irish, or I'm Irish, Italian, Irish, Schuylkill County boy, like a guy, and they talk about, the hot topic is now is male masculinity, but I mean, we're for a long time we were always raised to like, don't show your emotion, don't cry, be a man, suck it up, like, but as you get older you realize like that's not healthy for you.
That's not healthy at all. Everybody grieves in their own way, and me and Crystal got into this a little bit because she felt that I was holding everything in.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we were designed to do our whole lives.
And I said that. I'm like, I don't know how to show emotion to something like this. I was never prepared. Losing a grandfather, a grandmother, and anybody like that, that's one thing. Losing a friend is one thing. Mm-hmm. Losing part of you like family members are. Don't misunderstand that.
No, 100%.
But I mean, an actual part of you is completely different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were going through our whole process, our grieving process, I didn't know what to do. I couldn't cry. I started drinking heavily. I put my emotions into my work. I wanted to work. I work over at Air Products. It's for Pursuing Materials now. But being at work kind of helped me take my mind off of everything else.
Yeah.
Because, I was, I'm an electrician, so I was,
You stay busy.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I built a patio cover at our house. She wanted one. And I built it in like 2 weeks just because I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And it got to the point, even now, coming up almost a year later, I'll be at work or just at home by myself or wherever. And it, just like that, takes the breath right out of you. It's just like it's a shock to your system. You got to sit down and, you know what I mean? You got to collect yourself. It's like, all right, pull it together, kid. You know what I mean? You got to figure this out. And that's why, like, I keep beating this dead horse here. Say their name, talk about it. You know what I mean? Let it. My son, I'll be the brief amount of time we spent with him. He's a person.
Yeah.
Like he has a name. He was a human being.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's I don't know, man. It's tough. It's you try to go on as best you can, but it's always that black cloud in the back of your mind. You know what I mean? Because then Crystal had a good idea, and we did this. We each wrote a letter to Lincoln, and we folded it up. At the time, neither one of us read it. I didn't read hers, she didn't read mine. And we folded it up, and we put it in his casket, and we buried them with him. Since then, I took a picture so I have it, and I read hers, and she's read mine. That helped. You know what I mean? But the thing that gets you, like I said, when you're just sitting thinking, getting lost in your thoughts, are the what ifs. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of person would he have been? What would he have done? It's just questions that'll never have answers. You know what I mean?
And I mean, I think that's why it makes it a little like, family is super important, and friends when they pass, it's heartbreaking and stuff. But you have those memories, and you have the people that connected with you because of those people.
You have answers to the what ifs.
Right. Where this, it's like you never know what could have happened after that day.
Yeah. So that's our story. That's that. That's our whole unfortunate scenario that we went through. But Daxton, for how small he is and how much of a terror he is,
you appreciate it,
dude. You have no idea how much that little kid has held us together.
And you guys are a great support system for each other. You're a good couple. You're an amazing couple. Like how you guys support each other and you pick each other up. Like obviously every couple has arguments and fights, but for the most part you guys realize, like just from an outside person looking in, and we've never, me, you, Crystal, we never sit down and had a hangout but just because we live in that small town, and I've seen interactions with you two and social media and mutual friends of Josh. You're an amazing couple, and your support, like how you support each other, and you just went through this, and you're going back, and like I said, like how we talked about before, like who you were as your past and who I was as our past. We may have outside people saying, "Oh, that's them. They were this when they." You're now taking time out of your day and going to events and helping other people who, like that, and that's all really good stuff. And how you're getting to the point where like you don't bottle things up anymore. You talk about it. You open yourself up. That's all amazing things that you, and now you're helping children. So a lot of kids you're working with, they could turn to and say, "What do you know, Coach? You've never been through it." Now, obviously, you're not supposed to have certain conversations with kids, but I used to be open. Like, there's more to my story that you even know, and there's not much that you haven't experienced that I haven't experienced. And I'm going to be completely frank with you. It's there. Like, I mean, like I still when I coach high school kids, I've had kids that would, once they even graduate, they'll call me 2 or 3 in the morning, like, "Coach, I'm going through something right now. Can I talk to you?" And that's and I truly feel like you're doing the right things. Like, people shit and they bash our area and say, "I hate School County, this place sucks," but I'm same as you. As like I said, we're very similar people. As we take pride in our community. Like one of the main things with this podcast that I'm doing, and the reason why I'm doing is not just to get people's stories out. I want to help upcoming events. If there's somewhere, like the other day we shared something in Monty City where it was people that are struggling with drug addiction to go sit down and have a conversation. I want to support those things. A local business. If there's a business out there, yeah, I want to come sit down and let you talk about your business and and let people, that I didn't realize that place was like that, and let kind of deeper dive on the owner and say, oh, well, that person's a cool person. I'll go support that now. Like, I take a pride in where I'm from, and to help build that up is good. And you're doing the same thing on your end with coaching and helping people and doing the right things and just being a light in the community. And that's I commend that 100%.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. We there's a lot of other things that her and I have planned coming up. We're gonna try again coming up soon. I said I coach baseball, and then I took a lot of this. What happened with Lincoln? I put a lot of the blame on myself with her being pregnant, and then not being sick, but like just, being beaten down with being pregnant and then having a 2-year-old and then work, or not 2, but having a toddler at the house and then this and that. And then me being away at practice, after working, 8-10 hours, whatever it is. I took a lot of the blame. I put it on myself, like I did this, I caused this. She was overworked, she was overstressed, and turns out, there was an actual reason why this happened. But now going forward, we try again. I said, coaching baseball. Now, if God grants us the gift again, I already told my head coach. I said, listen, I'm done. I'm on the spot. The day if we find out she's pregnant again, I'm hanging it up. I have to.
Yeah.
And he completely understands. I mean, he was a good support there too through the whole thing, and he even told me after it all happened, he's like, you take whatever you need. Like even now, there'll be some lifting workouts and whatever for the kids, and like I'll be there when our practices start. I can't commit to this now. And he said, absolutely, I completely understand. From
a coaching aspect, people don't realize the effort put into this.
Oh God! What, to coaching?
Yeah, it's
the amount of time you take away.
My dream interview that I would love to do, and. I kind of reached out to them on Facebook, but I don't think he uses his Facebook Messenger. But I was super intimidated. I wrote a whole message up and I sent it, and it took me like a week to send it because this guy not intimidates me, but my respect for him is so high. I've never played a second for him as one of my coaches, but I respect his level of coaching that much more. And then when I became,
you got to be talking about Mickey.
Yes, when I became a coach. And I realized, like, I didn't have vacations with my wife. We didn't go places. My weekends, like, we're not going out on a Friday night because I have to be up Saturday morning and Sunday morning for a game. I was there every single day from the time the field opened to the time the field closed. Like, I've never, like, when it was soccer season, it was like Heidi understood, but she's like, oh, I'm not going to see Tony for a couple months.
Yeah.
Because and to realize that this guy did it he didn't take his off season. If you played for him, he worked 100% of the time all year round, and it showed. In my opinion, he should have an ESPN documentary about him. I truly feel that. Like, a school that graduates 76 kids, and he was in the state contender. He was a state contending team every single year in basketball. It's unbelievable to even fathom that. You know what I mean? Like. He was a top-ranked coach in top 10 in the state of Pennsylvania his entire career. That's not a mistake. That's not just
he's doing something right.
Yeah, that's not. We just got a good strand of talented kids from this age up. No, you when you enter his system from Biddy up, you are learning his system. Like and the whole idea of it, like I would love to talk to him, but like going into coaching, people don't realize when someone's doing that. Like, it's easy to be a coach and say, I'm just doing this because my kid's here.
Sure.
So I could relate to you. Like, I didn't have a child. I did it because I loved doing it, and I love giving back. There's a power to that. That's something you can't describe. Yeah. So that coaching, I guess when you were saying, like, when it comes down to it again, I would take that step away, and I respect that 100% because the time taken to do that is insane.
Everything you said about soccer season, and how you would say, take all of that and put a newborn 9-year-old in the mix.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I couldn't imagine.
So much. I took a step back. I stopped coaching football, and then about a year and a half later, I got the opportunity. I was asked to coach baseball. Now, I coached football. I still love football.
Yeah.
We did that alumni game. We'll talk about that in a bit. Did that alumni game. That was great.
I wanted to go to it so bad, but there was a reason I did it. I'll get into that too.
But baseball is where my heart's at.
Yeah.
I've always loved baseball, and that's why I said that's why it kicks me. It kills me every day to know I made that stupid mistake in high school.
Yeah.
So to remedy that, I always tried to keep myself playing. Like, I played in the adult league up in Hazleton for a couple of years. It was great. You're playing against college athletes. It was a good league. But getting away from that, and then I got the opportunity to coach baseball. I'm like, absolutely, because I'm more of a forward type person. You know what I mean? I'm a really black and white, blunt, to the point kind of guy. So I relate easier in my coaching ability to an older person, to the high school kids. Now, granted, the 5th and 6th grade, they're old enough to understand what you're trying to tell them. My last year coaching football, I coached the 3rd and 4th grade team. That was tough. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to teach what I know to a kid that doesn't know, his
he didn't tie his shoes when he got to practice.
Sure. But it's just the opportunity you can get to give to somebody. It's great. You're seeing kids in a basketball game. Hey, coach.
Yeah.
Kids that you coached 4 years ago. You coached him when he was in 5th grade, and now he's a sophomore star. Junior star in every sport he plays, and then hey, Coach Brian, every time you see.
And you keep tabs of those kids,
sure,
100%. My player right now, my 2 players that I keep an eye on. There's a few of them. I would say maybe 2 or 3 players I keep an eye on, and they all go to different schools. Victoria Donovan plays basketball for Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Yep, I coached her since she's 9 years old. Jordan Carmonic, phenomenal, great. Then all these people come from great families. Like the bond. I still very friendly with them, and then. I keep an eye on. Oh my God! I just had a brain fart. They're 2 sisters, Mackenzie and Miranda Malikuski. They
I work with Ronnie. I work with their dad.
Yeah, they go all over the place. They're very, very talented athletes as well. Like I said, there's way more people that I keep tabs on, but it's fun, man. It's a blast.
That's one thing I never did. Like you're saying that, just a handful.
Yeah.
I always, every time, no matter if I coached a kid for a year or whatever, a couple of years, and I see them and I was like, hey, how you doing? How's school going?
Yeah.
I always just stop and just try and talk to them a little bit.
That's what I do too.
It's just, if anything, it makes me feel that, even if they do have a good support system, come from a good family, in my mind, I feel like it makes them think, hey, somebody else cares. You know what I mean?
100%.
And it makes them realize, there's good people.
Yeah, and like I said, that's why I'm not afraid to take a phone call at 3 a.m. from
I never had to do that.
I had to. I had a player that she struggled with anxiety problems really heavily, and she would go through a panic attack, and we built up that trust with each other that when she was going through it, I was one of the only coaches she could talk to.
Sure.
Like she was a point where she had to step off the field and she'd have to call somebody, and then I became that instead of making the call. Yeah. So and we haven't talked in a while. I should probably definitely reach out and see how she's doing. But it's nice to get that. Like you're still like that. They still have that trust with you to.
I'm 33 years old. Yeah. And anybody that coached me at any point in my life,
I still call him coach.
Always.
Except my high school coaches that we talked about.
No, even still.
Yeah.
Like, the coaches that I said when I played my junior year, I never held anything ill will towards them.
Yeah.
I mean, they taught me everything, not everything. My brother, I put that on, that taught me about baseball, but they helped me and they made me a better person.
Even if there's someone that I know, like I've never played for Mr. Olansky or I've never played for Mr. Holland. But if I see them, I 100% coach. How you doing?
I see Mickey. Hey, coach, how's it going? I always do that because that's a form of respect.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Because
like you just said, people put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that profession, and a lot of them get shit on.
Yeah,
you know that.
Yeah.
So it's great, just to
that's why I'm really happy they named both courts after them, like the Mickey Holland court and the Scott Olansky court. Yeah. When they said that was happening, I was like, oh, Mr. Fazio.
Sure, the field.
Yeah, 100%. Like the time that.
That was great when they did that with him, and all of his old players came back.
Yeah.
Well, the ones that were available. That was cool.
So the alumni game.
Yes. We saw this on Facebook, the videos, the advertisements
where like people are dying and getting smashed.
Nah, come on, it's not like that.
The advertisement was crazy.
Like celebrity deathmatch type shit. So
do you want to kill yourself? No,
we saw the advertisement, and I'm thinking, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? Who's gonna do this? And then USA Football, I looked them up, and I'm, dude, this is a real thing.
This company comes and they literally provide all the equipment.
You pay $100.
Yeah, they
pay $100. You basically rent the equipment, and they put together a football.
Do you get a jersey?
Yeah.
They give you a jersey?
No, it's just all their stuff. You give it all back.
Yeah, so they come and provide jerseys. They come and provide the equipment. They provide everything. The only thing you have to provide is
your cleats.
And a location.
Game ball and a location.
Yeah, and
so what happened?
Yeah,
we got the ball rolling a little bit. I threw it out to Shadler, Sean Smith, and we just got talking about it and just getting the feeler out. And it took time, to get it, because everyone's like, this is bullshit. Who's going to want to do this? So then, as the wheels started turning on this whole thing, we got more and more people involved. And then Robert Bishop is the guy's name. I believe he's from Ohio, but he covers PA, East area of the country. So we reached out to him. We got him in for a meeting between whoever from Shenandoah was interested in playing and whoever from Monterey. We had it at the West End, and there was maybe 10 guys from Shenandoah, maybe 12, 13 from Monterey, and we were talking about it. And he just laid it out, how it goes, what he does, what services he provides, and how we go about this. So what it was he gave us a date to go online, sign up, and pay, right? By that cutoff date, whoever has the most athletes signed up and paid, that's the school he will approach first to go to school board to use their facility. Mm-hmm. We had more at Shenandoah. Went to the school board, and they approved it. He laid out, we signed waivers, everything. Like, the school was held liable for nothing. You know what I mean?
And they get to make money on concession if they want to open it.
What it was, pre-sale tickets, before the day of the game, half went to him, half went to the school. Gate tickets were all his. That was it. Concessions, if there was anything being sold at the game, that all came back to the school. I don't remember the exact number. I think we raised, I'll say around $1,700 for the school, and I think Monterey got $1,000 from their pre-sale tickets, because the away team, which was Monterey, they naturally didn't have any concessions or anything, so all their money went. They kicked our ass in pre-sale tickets, which was good because that's how they made their money.
Yeah.
Our money came from concessions and pre-sales and whatnot like that. So our money got put back into the school fund. I think I thought it was going towards the football program, but it wasn't. It went back into what their priority list was at the school district for what they were renovating. I think our money went towards renovations of the baseball field, which we all know needed. That baseball field, I love that field, but it was
work.
It was beat up. Yeah. So they redid that, I think, this off season.
Yeah.
So now we play over there this year. It was an all dirt infield. Shitty fences and whatnot. All rust. I don't know exactly what they did with the perimeter, but I know they put a new infield in, grass infield, and they renovated their stadium there, which was nice, and it's just good to help out. So we played the game. It was amazing. Just to throw the pads on again.
No one really got hurt or anything for the most part, right?
No, I think no one did. The one lad blew his knee out, but I could be wrong here, so don't quote me on this. I think he just had knee surgery a couple months ago or before the game, so he probably never even should have been there. And I think he only went in for one play, and he got hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he dislocated his knee or whatever it was. But other than that, no. I mean, everyone was all banged up. We're old, you know what I mean? You have your practices that you had. I think
who were some of the?
We did Sunday and Wednesday. So besides work and being family, whatever, you do what you can.
Who were some of the names in each squad?
All right, for us, Brian Racis came back. He was our quarterback. Brian was a quarterback for the '95 district championship team. Chris Cuff, Stephen Davis. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. I can't think of his name. Joe Catullus. He came back too. They were some of the older guys. Jamie Generini played. Steve Smith. Sean Smith. Coach Ruth. Joe Ruth dressed with us.
Nice.
Which was fantastic because he was my coach. He coached the back-to-back 96, 95, 90, or 96, 97 is what it was.
Who coached the team? Did you guys have like an alumni coach come back?
Jay Beresford. He just came. Hambone is his nickname. He came in, and it wasn't a fault of his own. It was so much for us to do. I wrote a full playbook, and these were plays that we were practicing. But then, like 2 weeks before the game, we're realizing, like, dude, I can't be out there. I was our center. I can't be on offense telling the quarterback, hey, run this play. You know what I mean? So we had to get a coach, and we brought him in, and he came to our last 2 weeks of practice, and he put some plays in that he ran because a lot of the younger studs that we had, like Tyler Mornell, Angelo Muskornik, Dave Gottschall, them younger guys like that, they played for Hambone, so they knew his play, so it was a lot easier to develop. And it was just simple blocking, nothing crazy like that.
Was it like backyard football, like you run here?
No. He had it all laid out, and just the protections, 50, 60, 70, left, right, center, this and that. Simple stuff you could pick up. But it just wore on us a little bit, because Monoy, they had Greg Merchlinski as their coach, who was with them the whole time.
Yeah.
And it showed. Some of their plays, the design, misdirection plays, they had a great game plan, and it was a great game. It was 14-7, and it was a low-scoring game. It was in the rain. It was amazing time to do. You see our kids are there. We're holding our kids in our gear, and it was just great.
Yeah.
So, fundraiser. So then next year comes, which was last year, and Bishop told us after the first year, it's so much harder. Which you would think would be the opposite. Everyone sees this. Oh, this is a real thing. This is a good deal. So we were slated. It was all ready. We were going to play Monoid. That all got prepared, like through the school board and everything. They approved it all. We only had 4 guys pay from Shenandoah. I think Monoid might have had 6 or 7. We just know the numbers, so we couldn't have the game, which was a shame. You know what I mean? So, it was great while it lasted. They gave us all DVDs of the game. They filmed it and all. I have it at the house. That was something neat.
I know for a while.
Big write-up in the paper about it all and everything.
I know for a while there, they called it the Turkey Bowl. The Monty area guys used to do all the time. Like, they would get the alumni players.
We did that too.
Yeah.
We had a Turkey Bowl in Shenandoah. Yeah. He came, when Bishop, after the game, everyone's like, oh, you're going to be out there killing each other. You're going to hate. I'm like, it was nothing like that.
It was just fun.
Nothing like that.
It was fun.
After the game, we all shook hands. We're all talking. Hey, where are we going to go have a beer after this and that? And Bishop had us. He talked to us, and he said to me, he said to all of us, excuse me, not just me, considering the weather and the conditions of being rainy, just a shitty, sloppy night, and the amount of people that still came to this game, he said, you would have thought, based on the attendance tonight, that each team had 40 players on it, and these were both 6A schools. He goes, the amount of support that your area shows to your football, just local sports programs, he goes, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
He was looking forward to coming back and working with us all again, but unfortunately,
numbers
wasn't in the cards. Yeah.
Hopefully, it's something you can pitch again and it can happen. Like for me personally, I would love to see like an alumni basketball Monty City versus Shenandoah. Like I think that'd be fun too. Like see some old like a basketball version of that too. Because
we did an alumni baseball game last year for Shenandoah.
Yeah.
Just alumni, just Shenandoah guys. We went down the field. I think there might have been 20, 30 guys there, and we just picked 2 captains. They picked teams, and we played a baseball game, regular baseball game.
That's awesome.
It was amazing.
Yeah, when that was announced for the thing, I was like, man, I really want to go, but it's going to be tough for me because I was still kind of in my grieving process. I was like, man, if Jesse was still here.
He's the first person I thought of. Seeing Johnny out there, seeing Zach, Louie, what's that guy's name? I can't think of it.
Did Ziggy play?
No, Ziggy did not play.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I think he had something going on. He did say if we got it going again, he would. He
was a beast. That man was a beast back in the day.
Next, from my memory, next to Brian Bender, I haven't seen pure talent like that ever. Besides Ziggy and Bender.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you noticed it.
Mm-mm. Ziggy was a man.
Yo.
The only other person that broke Ziggy's record for rushing was a quarterback. Was Michael Gabel. Michael Gabel broke Ziggy's rushing record.
Yeah, and then Ronsky just broke that.
Did he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Ronsky broke it. I think. Don't quote me on that either. But he was the Mount Airy running back for the alumni game. Yeah. Just dicing us up. That kid's so quick.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
We used to play...
I didn't play defense, and I'm just on the side like, oh, shit, there he goes. Down yard. 70-yard runs.
We used to... When we played basketball, he was so tiny and wiry. Like, he would just get in the hole and just...
Sure. Yeah, he's an athlete, man. Natural athlete there. That was a good thing we did. It sucks we couldn't make it happen again.
I wouldn't give up on it.
Me and Chandler talked about something to try. We haven't spoke about it in a long time. I'm not going to bring it up here, just in case it does happen, because it's something we wanted to keep under our hats. But me and him have to get back together and discuss how we want to move forward with that.
I think my old youth area where they used to play soccer is doing an alumni game down the soccer field, and I showed Heidi the flyer, and she goes, "No, you're not doing it." And I was like, "Yeah, wink, wink. You're right. I'm not doing it. If I find it, I'm 100% going."
Crystal never said I couldn't do it. She just said, "You better be careful. You get hurt. You lose your job. We have this new house."
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
That wasn't something I was concerned about, because I limited myself. I just played offense. I didn't want to play defense, and it wouldn't have been fair because everybody had to pay to play in a game. You know what I mean? So for me, we did have some guys that had to go offense and defense just because they
were younger and better shape. They could do it.
No, the one kid that would play both ways graduated with me. He's just, unfortunately, he's in jail now. But he's an athlete and he was able to do it.
Yeah.
So. And it was good, but like I said, everybody played or paid to play, so it wouldn't have been fair.
Yeah. So wrapping up here, is there anything else you want to talk about? Plug, get off your chest?
No. I mean, I got my story out, what I wanted to say. I mean, I hope it finds someone out there, even if it's one person, that it can help them.
That's the name of the game for us here. We do appreciate the kind words of saying what this means to you and supporting us with it. It's
absolutely.
Definitely
our hoodies though.
Yeah, we're making an order soon because I'm gonna get some made for the other shows because we just went to a wrestling show and we're like, man, we should have wore like our podcast shirts.
Sure.
We have the interview ones, but we don't have ones for the other shows.
Sure.
So we're gonna get an order getter soon. So we'll talk after we get cut here, but. The big thing that we want to try to do, and I want to get to the point with my viewers and my support, the people who support, is I have like over 1,000 people who follow this page, and if I put like a donation thing out, like, hey, this is something going on in the area, and if 1,000 people all donated $1, we can change something. We can
$1,000 right there. Buddy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like we can make an impact, and then if those 1,000 people just hit a share button. And do that $1 and say, hey, like, can all my friends donate? Like, you don't realize how powerful $1 can be.
Sure.
And you would throw $1 away. You know what I mean? Like
Crystal did that for her birthday.
Yeah.
She sent a denomination out that she wanted to raise for the hospital for the infant unit or baby unit. I don't know what it's called. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she surpassed that. I think almost. Tripled it. She raised almost $1,000.
Yeah, I think I came close to like.
Maybe it was over 1,000.
I think my goal was $100 when I did mine, and I ended up making like 4 or 5. I did it for suicide awareness.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
And then people see that. I know people were making comments like, "This is me when I see one of those stupid birthday donations." But literally, like, if you put so when you make that, Facebook automatically does, I think, like $5 or $10 towards it to start. So say if there's 1,000 birthdays a day on Facebook and you make that thing and say, and you pick your charity and 1,000 people pick depression, like helping people with depression, and Facebook does $5 for every 1,000 birthdays that happen that day, you're helping. Sure. And Facebook makes billions of dollars, and that's good that they're doing something like that. And I know a lot of people who are like, "Oh, this is another thing that annoys me on Facebook." But like, $1 goes a long way. Like, and then like the podcast, like if I say, I go, "Hey, I like this business," or "This business is open up." For like an example, people are starting to slowly find out Black Diamond's open again.
I was just gonna say that my sister bartends there at the weekend. She doesn't have her twin.
Yeah. If we can like get a plug, like that's why I shared Black Diamond. Like, hey, people, this is a thing again. Like, get the word out. Like, that's what we want. Not only do we want to get people's story out and help people and help people clear their story and help each other out, but like helping the local side of things and helping that. So it's.
Well, if we're gonna put a plug in, I'll throw one out there for Buzz.
Go ahead.
Number 3 barbershop in town here.
That's his on the main drag.
Yeah, right down from the post office up there in Frackville here. He's cuts great hair, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Bro, you don't got to worry about that. But
no.
He cuts.
He can do your beard.
Yo, he'd shape you up real good.
He puts the white and golds in my butt hair.
That's weird. No,
I didn't know that was Buzz's.
Yeah, that's his, man. Go check it out. Great work.
I love how his Facebook profile picture is Bruce the Barber Beefcake and his face on it.
Yeah.
As a wrestling fan, that was really cool.
You did that.
I made it.
I did too. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. We will definitely. I'm gonna find that page or Facebook page. I will plug that. Minor City Boy making a business in Fractal. That's awesome.
He's doing good. Yeah.
Good to know that. I was not aware that was his.
Yep.
But yeah, is any questions you have for wrap up, or you want to give your heartfelt wrap up there?
We'll go with the little speech thing. So first off, I want to say thank you for coming in and doing this, especially because, like you said, it's the first time that you've really done this in such a public setting, and I can't even imagine what it would be like to have that happen, but then come talk to, like, we've never met, so getting to sit here and listen to things that you went through, and it just, like, as an actor, I feel like any situation, like, I look at everything as like, oh, if it was a script, how would I work my way through this? If I was given a script and that was in it, I don't know if I could personally make it through it and have an idea of how to act.
You can't put yourself in that situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And it breaks my heart that anyone has to go through this. But hearing you say that there are people out there that are willing to help and be there for you, and then you and your wife are there for other people, it's just wonderful. And I mean, I wasn't a sport kid in school or anything, but hearing you talk about, you know, the values that you try to teach the kids that you are coaching is wonderful. I don't think there's enough of that out there. And I mean, not everybody believes in the same kind of thing or anything, but you're not discriminating against them for that. Like what you said, when it came to like religion or anything, you know, that's part of your thing, but it doesn't matter what that is. As long as you are comfortable with it, it's a wonderful. And like even the thing that you said about how you're the kind of guy who, if you coach somebody, you say hello to them if you run into them. I have teachers and stuff that I thought I made an impression on, and I worked at FYE, ran into them, and they had no idea who I was. And like then it didn't really matter to me that, because I just thought that was just what happens. But hearing that you with your coaching, that's a thing,
there's a different bond when you're willing to step on a field. And like a lot of people like, oh, sports or this or that or silly, but there's an experience when you're I want to say going to war, going to battle. But I don't want to put that depiction in there that you're out there to hurt or draw blood. But
people know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, but an outside person.
Sure.
You know, because he thought for a long time the sports were just like super aggressive and this and that. I mean, they can be, but there's a bond there. And when you go through something, like I had teammates to this day, we didn't get along. We weren't friends. I didn't like them. But when we stepped in that field, I had your back. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was. It's a bond.
Honestly, that's how it is when it comes to the like theater side of things. Most of the performances that I've ever done, we would go around to each person and say, I've got your back, just to show. Like, we may outside of that stage not agree with each other or not really like each other, but if something happened on stage, we knew that somebody was there watching out.
I don't think there's any person that I've played any sport with, not on the team, I mean that actually played the sport with, that I don't talk to when I see. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of an unspoken bond, as you say. And you relate, like you said, with the theater end of it and whatnot. That's another thing I regret in high school.
Not doing the plays?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
You know what? Like, because it was never big in Shannon. I went to my first high school play when I got with Crystal, going to see Noelle. And seeing her, and I don't know that other lad's name that was in the plays. This kid was phenomenal. Yeah. I don't know his name.
They're cool to go to, the high school plays.
And it just made me think, like, man, because I like that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I never thought I did until I went to see it. I'm like, man, that's really cool.
You know what's a fun fact about Jesse? I remember just popped in my head. Jesse asked me the one day, he goes, do you know what my biggest dream is that I would love to honestly do? And I was like, I don't know, like, do something with sports. And he goes, had nothing to do with sports. If you had to guess what Jesse's his all-time goal was, or one of his dreams that he never pursued, but he always wanted to do? He wanted to be like a front man in a band.
Really?
He wanted he loved that idea of it, like singing in a, like, you would never guess Jesse. Sure. Like towards the end there, before he passed away, he was going to like karaoke nights a lot. Mm-hmm. He liked doing it.
I love singing karaoke.
Yeah. There's always that different outlet that people you never really you don't really express, because once you're like kind of pigeonholed in a group in high school, you're like, oh, this is my group now. Like,
and you know what?
It's cool to see the younger generations not doing that.
No, and they're not, and it's great.
It's a completely different animal.
It is. It's great.
Yeah.
We watched Crystal's coworker Jen let her borrow The Greatest Showman. Mm. Have you seen it?
I love it.
Have you seen it?
No.
Dude,
with Hugh Jackman, right?
I am not kidding.
And
it is fantastic. Like, as far as
you just made his day.
Honestly,
as far as the musical goes,
just that bar scene with them two doing all
that's the best song in that movie.
Yeah, it absolutely incredible. Just to watch how much actual work was put in and choreographed, and it was spotless.
I watched the video what Zach's saying about that. He said this was because High School Musical and all that shit that he went through. He said this was the most demanding choreography he ever had to do for a movie.
Wow. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That was my #1 musical until I saw this movie.
Really?
I'm telling you, man, it's phenomenal.
I gotta watch it. It's on the Voodoo.
You see Hugh Jackman, you think Logan, rah, right?
Yeah.
And then the range of this dude. When we're done here, I'm gonna send you a YouTube video. Mm-hmm. It's him along with some of the other co-stars in a conference room, probably no bigger than this room, going through some of the songs with some of the, I think it's Fox or whoever, the bigwigs, to get the movie greenlit. Yeah. And they're singing some of these songs. Dude.
Phenomenal.
It's going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
And actually, Hugh Jackman, if I understand correctly, wasn't supposed to even sing.
That day, because he just had a skin cancer removed from his nose.
And he was so passionate about the project, he went in there and did it.
Yo, and it's great. I'll send it to you. You got to watch it. It's good, man. It's like a 5-minute video, but it's worth it.
All right, so we'll wrap up here real quick. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming and telling your story, and everyone. I really feel people are going to watch this and they're going to get that understanding of you as a person, and then hear your story. And I think it's going to be good for you. And once again, I thank you so much for doing it. And when you guys have your another one, it's going to happen for you. We'll keep updates, because another thing I like to do is we post. Once someone sits down and talks to us, we kind of like, hey, Brian's got this going on, or this is what Brian doing, or Brian coaching his team. He just coached this, this did this. So we always kind of keep updates of people that came on the show on the Facebook page. When you do post it and you're like, hey, I did this, it brings new people in, so we get new likes, new subscribes, and we continue to grow. It's really, really cool. But and we do, like I said, I appreciate the kind words and watch and actually taking the time out. I think this month alone was one of the first times that we had all 3 guests watch an interview before they came and did an interview, which is kind of cool. Like, you kind of have an idea coming in more of what to expect. But this is my last closing question, is coming into this, I know you watched the interview and stuff, but what was your initial thought coming in and coming out?
Coming into the interview?
Yeah, like what did you expect to happen or go through, and then coming out, how would you, if you were going to recommend this to somebody else?
Would I recommend? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just even if it's, no matter what the topic of conversation may be, something light, something dark, whatever it is, this helped me. For me. You know what I mean? Like, this may sound weird, talking to your wife, to your mom, to your dad, to a friend, you feel that support, but that's always there.
Yeah.
To get something like this that I spoke of tonight out in the open made me feel that I should have done it earlier. You know what I mean? So for that, I thank the both of you, because this helped me going forward with anything.
Yeah.
Knowing that you can sit down and just talk and have a conversation and take something away from it, or give something to somebody. You know what I mean? And that's a great feeling.
Absolutely.
And I commend both of you. Please keep doing this.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. Yeah.
I don't give a shit if you're talking. If you pick up a bum,
Yeah.
Talk to them, man. You
100%.
never know how you can help somebody.
That's our overall goal. So thank you so much for reaching out and willing to do this. And like I said, anytime you want to do a follow-up or anything going on, let us know. We'll figure it out. Or if anyone else out there would love to do this as well, reach out to us and we'll 100% set it up. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up here for interviews with Everyday People, episode number 11 with Brian Finneran. Thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you.
Good job, brother.
All right.